Hello, everyone. Welcome to our August speaker series, best known around the country for their creativity, innovation, fun-loving culture, and consistently getting kicked out of local business establishments. Todd and Terry believe in breaking out of the box in order to build incredible businesses and helping other agents do the same. They are the owner-operators of Ferris Property Group, a large and dynamic real estate team in the greater Indianapolis area. They co-host the Boom Real Estate podcast, where they focus on helping agents build an amazing business while building an amazing life. They have 7 kids and 3 pets between them, and they might ask you to babysit. Terry, Todd, and Megan speak, train, and dance across the country, and they are very excited to be here today. Please help me welcome the Boom team.
Oh yeah!
Yay! We're clapping for ourselves. I'm ringing the bell. Did you do air pistols?
That's my youngest child, who's 5. How old is he? 6.
That's
now.
Embarrassing.
Bad
start.
That's his latest thing. Every picture is finger guns.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's getting a little.
That's awesome. A little much. Well, hey, we are super excited to be with you. Thank you guys so much for having us. We are the Boom team. I am Terry. Right over here is Todd.
Hello.
We also have producer Christian behind the ones and twos. And Megan, who's also part of the team, is not with us today. But the 4 of us, we do have the podcast, which is really, really fun. It's called the Boom Real Estate Podcast, like Jerusalem said. And you can find that. It's basically morning show kind of vibes, but we also try to bring some helpful real estate content as well. And we love it. We were just like, we love sitting around talking about real estate and making a bunch of dumb jokes. So now we said, why should we not put this on the internet? Obviously. So that's why we got that there. You can check that out as well. But the 3 of us, Todd and myself and Megan, we also own and operate an independent brokerage here in Indianapolis called Ferris Property Group, which Jerusalem said. We are kind of a boutique brokerage. We've got about 50 people in the company. But we sell homes, and that's still the majority of how we spend our time. And so I like to preface that just by saying we get to do things like this, which is really fun. We have a podcast, which is fun. We get to travel around and talk to agents, which is fun. But we're spending almost all of our time working with buyers and sellers just like you. And so we come in the trenches just like you are on a daily basis. I always like to kind of say that out the gate, just so you know that where we're coming from is the same place that you're coming from.
Like for instance, right now I'm dealing with one. I've been doing this for 13 years, and I'm dealing with one of the worst clients I've ever had.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It's good times. So we're right there. So if I'm emotionally distraught today at all, it's because she's texting me and she's angry.
That's right. So we definitely know what that's like, and this is just going to be an hour of crowdsourcing help for you and your difficult client. That's what we're gonna do. No, it'll be fun. But can I also say that I'm so unbelievably excited because I don't think this has ever happened. We are doing our speaker series webinar today, and tomorrow I'm coming to see you.
Ooh.
I'm coming to see you, DMV. Each
and every one of you. We need you to put your addresses in the comments section.
No, don't put your address.
I'm gonna make house calls. No, I'm coming with my brother. We're doing a 2-day trip. I'm going to go to the Nationals game tomorrow late afternoon, going to the Orioles game on Friday, and then we're flying back. But I didn't even realize that until last week when we started to realize that we were going to be talking to you guys and then doing the trip right away. So
most people scout the area, like where they're going there, or before a presentation, they go scout before the presentation. We do it after. We send our scout team after the presentation.
I will say what I need to happen in the comment section in the chat is restaurant recommendations.
Oh,
Applebee's.
Don't say Applebee's, Christian, not Applebee's.
Applebee's is always consistent.
Find local establishments. I need fun events because we've got the day Friday to fill.
I second Christian's thoughts there. You haven't
Just
had
Applebee's.
You haven't had a great steak until you've been to the Washington D.C. Applebee's. That's where it's at.
That's right.
We just try to make it a thing everywhere we go. We just try to find the chain and say, "Have you had the chicken crispers at the Chili's in Boise?"
Oh,
because let me say, oh goodness. Okay, well let's.
By the way, we have no restaurant recommendations.
No one
has chimed in.
That's fine. I'm sure I can find an Applebee's. Good times. Okay, so let's dive in. So this is our 7.5 personal Jedi tricks to ignite your business. And maybe you have seen this meme before. but it kind of sets the stage a little bit for our conversation here today. Who said real estate was stressful? I'm 48. I feel great. So that's kind of funny. You probably saw that circulate a year or two ago, but very clever. I talk about people that want to get in this business. A lot of them say, I want to get in this business because of the flexible schedule.
Right.
And I laugh and I laugh and I laugh. and I like to joke. I say that, yeah, you can set your own schedule. Real estate's very flexible. You're welcome to work whichever 18 hours a day you want to work. No, but seriously, this can be a demanding, stressful profession that we are in. And so we want to talk through some of the things today that can help you from a life standpoint, get things under control so that you're not bottlenecking your business, because you are the bottleneck of your business. And that's just true. Whatever results you're getting today in your business, in your relationships, in your finances, they are all the result of how you are showing up in the world on a daily basis. So if you're not where you want to be in any facet of your life, whether it's your savings account, whether it's your real estate sales, whether it's relationships, your physical health, anything, you're getting the results based on the input that you're putting in on a daily basis. So you are the bottleneck. Your business growth will never outpace your personal growth. So to get to the next level, you've got to be someone that you've never been before. And that's what we're going to talk about. We want to talk today about how you can show up now in the way that your next level self needs to, because you're not going to get to that next level if you just keep doing the same thing over and over. So another metaphor, let me say this, you are the tide. If we think about the ships of your life, so your finances, your business, some of the things I've already talked about, relationships, your health, all those things, think of those as ships. And what do they have in common? They're sitting on the tide that is you, right? So we always talk about elevating the tide. And when you elevate the tide, you raise the ships of your life. So today we're going to be talking about the tide. We're not going to talk about the ship of how to get more listings or the ship of how to deal with a difficult client. Right. Sorry, Todd, we're not going to help you today. But we're going to talk about you and how you're showing up in your business and in your life, because we know as you elevate that tide, the ships of your life take care of themselves. Your businesses, your finances, your relationships, they're all better. One of the things my friend Ashton says that I really love, he says the best thing that you can give your clients, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your business is a healthy you. So we want to give you those tools today to elevate your personal self so that you can elevate your business as well. And let me say this, you might not like this.
Nope.
That's a terrible way to introduce a topic, but I say you may not like this because this is not the little silver bullet that all of us tend to look for in real estate, right? It's not how to win a competitive listing agreement, or it's not how to find more clients or things like that. It's really addressing the well, not the faucet.
Right.
If I could use one more metaphor.
Keep going.
That's a third metaphor.
More crazy. I love it. But it's elevating you on this personal level. So as we go through this, I would say, notice where you're finding resistance. When I say something, or Todd says something, or Christian says something, and you resist against that, you feel reaction and you say, ooh, I've heard this before, or, oh, this is not going to help me, or whatever. Notice those spots in resistance, because that might be what you most need in your life and in your business right now. So for example, if I'm walking down the street, somebody says, Terry, you are short. Well, I'm 6'3". I don't really, you could say that, but I know that's really not true. It doesn't bother me that you say that. But if you say, hey, Terry, you really need people to like you and think you're funny, that I feel a little resistance. It stings a little because it's kind of true. So as we go through this today, notice where you find resistance, because if it hits close to home, it's probably something you need to have a second look at and think about in your life.
Yeah.
So boom.
Wait, is it time for restaurant recommendations?
We have do we have restaurant recommendations to start us
rolling
off?
in. A Facebook user says Spanish Kitchen. And then we have another person that says Spanish Kitchen in Bethesda. By Jose Andreas.
Well, right now it is a clean sweep for Spanish Kitchen. My brother and I
have one restaurant and one restaurant only.
So we'll do Spanish Kitchen for lunch and Applebee's for dinner. Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's good eating.
Yeah.
That's good eating coming up.
Hey, I want to share a story. I want to talk more about my personal story and why this relates to what we're talking about today. But as always, the best way to share your own story is to share someone else's story.
That's not a saying. That's not a saying. No, you tried to make it. No, it's not. You just made that up.
You're going to start talking about yourself by talking about someone completely different.
Yes, exactly. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to show a little video for you that shares somebody else's story, and then maybe I'll relay it back to myself.
Yourself.
We'll find out.
It started for me with a panic attack on national television, on a little show that we do at ABC News called Good Morning America. I was overtaken with this irresistible bolt of fear. My name is Dan Harris. I'm an anchorman at ABC News. I also wrote a book called 10% Happier, which is about how a fidgety, skeptical journalist discovered meditation. Basically, what happened was I was anchoring the news updates. That's the person who comes on at the top of each hour and reads a few headlines off of the teleprompter. It was a job I had done many times before, so I had no reason to foresee what was about to happen. Health news now, one of the world's most commonly prescribed medications, may be providing a big bonus. Researchers report people who take cholesterol-lowering drugs called statins for at least 5 years may also lower their risk for cancer, but it's too early to prescribe statins slowly for cancer production. That does it for news. We're going to go back now to Robin and Charlie. It was really embarrassing and also really confusing. I ended up going to a shrink who asked me a series of questions to try to get at the root of the problem. And one of the questions was, do you do drugs? And I kind of sheepishly said, yeah, I do. I had come home from a long run in Iraq and I had gotten depressed. And I did a really dumb thing as I started to self-medicate with recreational drugs, including cocaine and ecstasy. It was intermittent. But it was enough, according to my shrink, to prime me to have this panic attack on national television. So that panic attack, which was the most embarrassing moment of my life, in a weird way, led me to the thing that made me 10% happier. My boss at the time was a guy named Peter Jennings, a legendary anchorman, gave me an assignment that I didn't want. He assigned me to cover faith and spirituality for ABC News. Many years into covering the beat, it was suggested to me by one of my colleagues that I read a self-help book by a guy named Eckhart Tolle. At first, I thought it was unremitting, irretrievable bullshit. But notwithstanding my initial skepticism, I continued to read, and I was glad I did, because Tolle started to unfurl this thesis about the human situation that I had never heard before. His argument is that we all have a voice in our heads. If you're unaware of this nonstop conversation you are having with yourself, it yanks you around. It's why you find yourself with your hand in the fridge when you're not hungry, or you're checking your email in the middle of a conversation with your kid, or you're losing your temper when it's strategically unwise. The idea of the voice in the head explained the most embarrassing moment of my life. I started to get interested in meditation, and I really thought that as somebody who was a non-obvious meditator, but who was deriving a lot of value from it, that I just suspected there were tens of millions of smart, skeptical people who would otherwise reflectively reject the practice, who might be open to it if it was presented in a different way. Notwithstanding all of the cultural residue that has accrued to meditation as a practice, in fact, the scientific research suggests it works. Happiness is a skill that can be trained just the way you train your bicep in the gym. And that's a really radical and empowering notion.
Powerful story, Todd.
Thank you. That
was well done. Well done. Now you guys get a little glimpse into who Todd is.
Yeah, that's right. And hopefully that all makes sense and lets you guys know a little more about myself. So that guy there, you may have heard of his name before. You may have even heard his story before, but his name's Dan Harris, as you saw from the video. Dan and I, we share two things in common. And the first of which, Christian, if you wouldn't mind just showing maybe a side-by-side comparison. Look at the striking resemblance.
Really brings it out.
Basically doppelgangers for each other.
Is that the first thing you have in common?
That's the first thing. Though that was my attempt at trying to do a new trend on Facebook of doing like the worst photo possible of yourself and make that your profile image. It lasted 24 hours.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I had one person that tried it too.
Yeah. I can't believe people didn't want to put a terrible picture of himself.
It was my manager at the time too, so I think my manager was trying to just win some brownie points.
Dan's contemplating life. He's looking off into the distance. He's well lit.
I've contemplated Facebook. So that's the first thing we have in common is we're both very handsome. The second thing is that we both suffer from panic attacks. So you saw Dan's story. Dan's story talked about being around the military, starting to use drugs. I was not in the military. I did not use drugs. But this is a similar style in that probably when I was like 36. So this would have been about 8 years ago. And mind you, I've been speaking on stages at this point. I'd been speaking on stages in front of people for about 16 years at that point. And so I was used to it. It was completely normal. But one day I was giving a presentation. It was Thanksgiving. It was a luncheon with my office, and I was doing a presentation to them.
I love a good luncheon.
Luncheons are great.
So much better than lunch.
I never really thought about the difference between a lunch and a luncheon. But what happened, all of a sudden, mid-speech, I just started shaking uncontrollably, and I couldn't stop it. I couldn't catch my breath. I don't know if you saw Dan there speaking. Like there's a moment where he starts to like get caught up, and he couldn't breathe. Which just even talking about that made me do it.
Oh, really?
But basically, I started doing that. And in the moment, you have that fight or flight thing. And I was like, what do I do? Do I just kind of leave? Like mid-sentence, just leave the stage? Or do I do something different, like fight it?
Yeah.
And I chose to fight it. And by fighting, I mean, I just hysterically started crying in front of this audience. And they were all, this was the most emotional thing. This was so great that a guy can reach in and dig in and find his emotions. And what they didn't know was I was suffering a panic attack for the first time in my life, which was very different. Then it started to get worse, and it happened more and more to the point where it wasn't just in front of an audience. I'd be in front of like 2 people, and I would have a panic attack. And so finally, I went to the doctor and I said, "Hey, this is what's going on. What do I do?" And of course, what do they want to do? They wanted me to take medication, and I wasn't ready for that. I didn't want to go into medication quite yet. I wanted to try, like Terry talked about, go to the well.
That's it, buddy.
One of those things.
The well.
I wanted to figure that out. So I started talking to my family, and it turns out that my dad actually around the same time in his life was having panic attacks. When he was about the same age. My brother, who's 5 years older, started to have panic attacks when he was about the same age. So we noticed it was something about family, but then we also started analyzing our lifestyles. And what we found was that at the time, all of us were not sleeping well. All of us were not eating well. All of us were not exercising well. And kind of like Dan Harris had chosen some lifestyle habits that were not great for his lifestyle and his life, we were doing the same thing. We were just not healthy in the moment, and it ended up coming back to bite us and bite us pretty heavily. And so I battled that for pretty seriously for about a year, where I didn't want to go in front of, even like I said, even groups like 2 people. It was frightening to me to have to speak in front of any of them. So then fast forward to now, we are doing much better of making sure that we are sleeping before we do presentations. We are eating correctly. We're exercising. We're doing the things. We're making better lifestyle choices. And that's kind of what we want to talk to you about today. It's not just lifestyle choices, it's business choices, but it's all these things that kind of surround how to become a better salesperson that aren't just the sales tactics. And we're going to be talking about those. And so it sounds like this is all going to be something that doesn't have to do with the sales and like how to increase your business, but it does. In essence, this will help you do everything better. And that's what we want to talk about today. So that's what we're going to be diving into with 7.5 Jedi tricks.
100%, buddy. Good story. Thank you for sharing that. I will say too that we've all known realtors. It's just a stressful business. And so people burn out, they stress out, they suffer panic attacks, they crush their physical health. And we just want to say there's a healthy way to do this, to do this job. So we're gonna work on that. And when you're healthy, that's when you hit your potential. That's when you maximize your capacity in this business and what you're capable of. So a couple of little housekeeping things, and then we're diving into the 7.5 personal Jedi tricks that will ignite your business. First of all, you're going to get the slides. So don't feel like you've got to screenshot everything. Don't feel like you've got to scribble a bunch of notes. We're going to make sure that you get the slides. We'll tell you at the end how you can do that. And then the other thing too is we have, and I'll say this too. We have the chat open. We can see the comments in the chat. Producer Christian is monitoring that. So feel free to drop questions in. Feel free to drop comments in. Feel free to drop restaurant recommendations in, things like that. But get to work in that chat in the comments. We'll ask you a couple of questions in there too. But that's how you communicate directly with us. We can see that, and we are monitoring that. And then the last thing, Christian, we've got 7.5 of these, and obviously. I don't care which ones I do. I don't care which ones Todd does.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go round robin. Not round robin. Let's.
What if Christian just tells us?
Shall you produce? Producer.
You want to produce? You say. Okay,
let's go. Was it the first one? What?
Right out the gate.
First one. Here we go.
This is where you have to choose your favorite kid.
Okay, let's
organize your space. Okay. I'm nervous.
Terry.
All right, I got it. I've got it.
Dang it.
Let me ask you this question, folks. When we say organizing your space, that's number one. Does your car look like this? How many of you feel guilty and realize, yes, just fast food up to the brim? Or maybe your office looks like this. Some people literally think I work better in that kind of chaos. And I understand that people have that theory, but I think it's crazy when you have mess like this, or obviously these are pretty extreme examples, but when you have a messy car, which is where we spend a ton of time as realtors, or a messy desk, which is another place we spend a lot of time as realtors, you are carrying around stress and anxiety that you don't even know exists. So, and we always like to look in here. If you unfocus your eyes, then more clutter pops out.
Yeah, I noticed something different. It's the Tin Man up on the right. I
never saw the Rolodex before. The Rolodex. I wonder who actually.
An old flippy Rolodex.
Yeah.
Well, the tube TV on the left kind of gives it away. This is not the most current photo. I'm sure.
At the bottom there, it's nice.
But you get the idea. But what we would say is that organizing your space will help you get more peace in your life. It'll help you be more organized in your business. And so making sure that you are taking care of your spaces is the first way to really to really get organized. Let's talk about my revolutionary system of organizing. This is revolutionary. This is where we change lives now. Number one, step one of the 3-step process, you've got to take everything out, right? So your car, your closet, your office, whatever it is, take everything out. Everything. Good, bad, ugly, it comes out. Then you're going to sort it into piles, and there are 3 piles. The discard pile, you throw it away. The donate pile, you donate it, or the keep pile. And I'm sorry about that third one.
Alliteration.
I'm sorry about that.
It's stretched.
It's a real stretch.
Chosen me.
3 Ds.
No, people say that you want to do alliteration when you're giving a speech. And so this is good. People are going to remember this. Discard, donate, the keep. So again, you've got 3 piles. The stuff that you're going to discard, throw it away. The stuff you're going to donate, go donate it. And then put back in only the things that you need. That's step 3, put everything back. So that's our first step. It's organize your space. And the reason it's that is because you want to start in an environment is huge. Yeah. We really underestimate the impact of environment on our day-to-day lives. So organizing your space will provide a great physical context for you to be able to do some of these other things as well. So that's why it's like the first kind of domino.
Right. It just reduces stress. Like when you have all that. So when I see that office picture that we saw before, just the stress started setting in.
Yeah.
Like if that's your work environment, by the way, if that's not you, you know who in the office that is.
Because their stuff is spilling into your office. You're like, keep it on your side. But I will say also, Todd, this applies to your voicemail. It applies to your email inbox. It applies to your text messages, your voicemail. I already said that. Apps on your phone. All these different spaces, physical and digital. The more clutter you have, the more baseline stress you're walking around with every day.
Right. There's a great Netflix documentary, I think, called The Minimalists or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Check that out. Not right now. Continue watching.
Should we go to the next point?
But you want to go?
Let's go. Look at him produce.
I'm excited now.
What is it? What is it?
Let's see what we got here. Create a routine.
Okay, that's number 2. Create a routine. I feel good about creating a routine.
You did a good job. I was really proud of you, but we're going to go to Todd.
Oh, we're over to Todd. That was a feisty point.
No look.
All right.
No look.
The no look point.
Number 2, create a routine. So I used to be a teacher, and I once went to a presentation where the presenter told us he coined a term, and I don't know if he was the one that coined it, but he coined the phrase or the term routinization. And the whole idea was you need to have routine and you need to be organization. And so he said, if you do that, people will respond better. Your class will respond better. So being the good listener that I was and doing what all people that go to presentations do is they use absolutely everything they learned.
That's right.
And apply those to their jobs. So that's what I did. So I had
counting on you. We're counting on you to learn and apply everything to this presentation.
So I had a routine where the first 10 minutes of my class every day were the exact same thing. It didn't matter what kind of class you were in. It was always the same concept and same routine. And so one day, being the young 24-year-old teacher that I was, I accidentally slept in and I showed up late to my own class.
That's fine.
And I was like, I was expecting anarchy, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies, Lord of the Flies, just chaos and fires and people in underwear. It was going to be weird. And I show up and they look just like this. Look at this. Is an actual photo I took from my BlackBerry back then. But I did walk in and they had done everything they were supposed to because that was the routine. They were into the routine. And so the same thing kind of applies to our life. And that's what we want to talk about here is how to create a routine in your life and making sure that you are doing things every day. And that's the thing Terry talked about before. we get in this job for the flexibility, and then we quickly realize that the more flexible we are, the worse we are. And so we actually need a little less flexibility. So part of that is creating routine. If you have not read the book, Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, you should check that out. And that's a good audio listen as well if you're a really slow reader like myself. But it talks all about starting your day off right with the Miracle Morning. And so we're going to do that right now. We're going to talk about the morning routine.
Nice.
Couple things about the morning routine. One, you need to wake up early. So this is a fun one to play in the chat section. So in the comments section,
I love this.
I want to find out who is our earliest riser.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So if you think you wake up early, and by the way, if you're a 5 o'clock or a 6 o'clock waker-upper, don't put it in the comments.
Yeah, don't even bother.
You will not win.
We need them for context.
Okay, that's true. All right. So we want to know who wakes up the earliest. So put it in the comments section. If you wake up the earliest, what time you think it is, and we're going to let you know who the big winner is. Facebook user, one of our Facebook users just said it's not me. They actually just woke up right before this presentation.
Self-awareness. I like that. I like that. That's
so
good.
Put that in there. I will tell you that we have had some very interesting wake up times throughout this when we've done this presentation before. So we're going to see if we can set a new record. But I usually there's like a 4 o'clock, a 4:30.
Crazy.
All right. And that's, teach their own. Like for me, that would be way too early, and self-realization for myself is that can't happen. Today, the kids went back to school yesterday.
Yeah.
So today's day number 2, and we got to wake up at like 6:30 for that. Woo! I struggle with that, even though I teach wake up early.
Is that you get up about 6:30 or so
6:30
when you're going
routine.
good? Yeah, me too. Yeah. So when we say early, it doesn't have to be 4 in the morning. It doesn't have to be.
We have an LOL. That's one of our comments.
Brian.
We have a 4:30 to 5:15 on average.
There it is.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a set time. So that's one thing too, is if you do this, and we're going to talk about this, wake up early and wake up consistently.
Okay, are you jumping on Brian for getting up?
No,
in a 45-minute block between
Brian's our winner so far.
Brian, you sometimes seriously sleep till 5:15?
That's
Brian. The day's half over. That's my dad would say that.
If you can beat the 4:30 time that Brian has posted, go ahead and post that. The winner gets a $5 Starbucks card, so you can get some caffeine. So
I'm gonna hand deliver it to your house tomorrow.
We'll need your address. All right, so we want to wake up early. We want to wake up consistently. The consistently part doesn't mean like just don't die. Like yes, you still need to wake up.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
That is true. But what we're talking about is your body. Actually, they've done studies that if you create a routine in your wake up time, so you wake up at the same time every day, and I'm talking weekdays and weekends, if you do that, your body will naturally know that that's the time it wakes up. And you get to the point where you're my dad and he wakes up at 5:30 in the morning without an alarm. Right. Yeah. And so that's the key, though. If you do that, if you wake up early, you wake up consistently. One, the early part gets you ahead of all the fires. Yeah. That's where you can get all that stuff done that you need to get done before your kids wake up. You need to get done before you check your emails. You need to get done before all the fires start. So we want you to wake up early and get ahead of the day. All right. And then wake up consistently, like I said, just so that your body gets used to it. Your body knows this is when we wake up. And like I said, if you're waking up without an alarm, that's because your body has gotten used to it. And that's when you know you're doing things right. Okay. Yeah. So there's the wake up early, wake up consistently, but then there's also the personalized morning routine. So when you wake up, what are you doing? All right. You should consider things like exercising, stretching, just to get the blood going. Meditation. We're not going to spend a ton of time on meditation. I used to teach science classes, and I didn't believe in the woo-woo stuff of meditation until Terry started bringing it into my life and showing me the value of things like visualization and meditation. So how do you visualize your day? How do you meditate and get ready so that your mind is right? And then lastly, review your day. Hopefully you know exactly how your day is going to go because you've planned it hopefully the night before, which we're going to talk about in a second. But if you can then take one last step, which is just visualize how you want your day to unfold, you'll be more successful. All right. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about a morning routine. Wake up early, wake up consistently, and then make sure that you're doing the same thing each morning. So if that's the morning, the next step is the day. So create a daily routine. When you're doing your daily routine, you start with your morning, same thing. Do your miracle morning. Again, read the book if you haven't yet. And then power block. We are big proponents for doing power blocks. All right. Yes, which means that you know that at that from 9 to 11 o'clock, you are doing lead generation, and that's all you're doing. By the way, schedule your frog type things earlier in the morning.
What's your frog thing?
If you don't know what a frog thing is, that's eating the frog, which means if the worst thing you had to do every day was eat a frog, do it first so you don't have to dread it all day.
Yeah.
Same thing with like lead gen is most of our frogs. We don't like to do it, but we know it's also the one thing that gets us paid.
Yeah.
So you should make sure that you do that early and you do it consistently, but schedule it, power block it, and say from 9 to 10, I will only do lead gen during this time. All right. And by the way, that can go past that too. And we'll talk about that in a second, where it's not just a daily or hourly thing. All right. And then lastly, plan your day at night. So the last thing you should do for business is simply right before you shut it all down. And we'd love to have some non-business time to wrap up your night. But before you shut it all down, just plan your next day. So that way, when you wake up in the morning, all you got to do is routine or review it and you're ready to go.
Right.
So we got our morning, we got our day. The next thing is we create our weekly routine. I would love to see each of you create a goal week. What is your best work week look like? And again, it's a work week, not a week in Barbados.
Right.
Went to Barbados. It's a lovely, lovely place. You guys should try it.
Good for you. Do they have an Applebee's?
They do. They might. All right.
That skinny chicken.
Our problem with going to Barbados, side note, was we went to one of these all inclusive.
Oh yeah, so
and so you never wanted to leave the resort. Yeah. So like it was basically just a chunk of America in Barbados. All right. Create a goal week, and then consider theme days. This is another one. So like Mondays is good catch-up day. Tuesdays, maybe that's lead gen for business vendors that you have associations with. Wednesdays could be working all those hot leads, so have theme days to it so that, again, the week plays out the same each week. You have more of a routine. And then lastly, just like you plan every day the night before, plan every week the very beginning of the week, which for most people is going to be Sunday night. Okay. So one of our favorite phrases, by the way, when you're thinking about how to create a routine and keeping your schedule flexible and available to it, is simply just say no. As Barbara Bush said,
good old Barbara.
Say no. And she might have been talking about drugs, but I think it's about all the appointments.
That's Mamie Eisenhower. That is not.
Is that Eisenhower?
Yeah, Mamie.
Okay. I thought that was Roosevelt, maybe.
No. This part always
Eleanor.
It's not Eleanor Roosevelt.
So mad. You will get so mad.
We do this presentation a lot, and we always reference everybody except for the actual person that picture is. And we don't even say her name. I don't know why. But just because then in the comment section, everybody gets really mad.
Laura Bush.
And that's our goal, is to make you as mad as possible.
If you're mad today, we've done our job.
So the last thing is just say no, though. Simply this. If you have those lenders, you have those title company reps, you have all these other vendors that you're the rainmaker for, and they just want to do lunches with you all the time, just say no. If it doesn't help you reach your real estate goals, your business goals, just say no. Thank you, Barbara Bush.
That's good. The routine thing for real is one of the most powerful things that you can bring into your life. I just think about, especially from a business standpoint, if you did lead gen, not even a ton of, if you did even 30 to 60 minutes, but you did it every day, day after day, day after day, week after week, week after week for 6 months.
Yeah.
Just that consistency of the routine would have incredible, massive benefits. Your business would be completely different.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of us, that's going to be the key piece, is just, can I create a routine and stick to it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks? Because if you can, and if you do, your business will be on fire and you'll be in a different spot 6 months from now.
All right. Is it time to go to the next?
Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
I got excited.
Number three.
I think, I think Todd did such a great job.
No, come on.
We're going to Todd for 3.
Bring it back. Again. 2 in a row.
Man, I'm on fire.
All right, I'm going to step up my game.
Number 3, surround yourself with next level people. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Hopefully you have, but there is a slide on the internet that says you are the average.
There's a slide on the internet. Do you see that slide on the internet?
Listen, you can't just put slides on the internet. So this is the best possible info.
That's right.
You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take a moment to reflect right now. Who do you spend the most time with?
Who is Jim Rohn anyway?
5?
Who's Jim Rohn?
The guy that put the
how did he get in here? Okay.
So and there's a picture
of
some band apparently.
Listen, Jim Rohn is an author, speaker.
Yeah, well known.
Like very well known.
He's not some guy playing video games.
No, he's extremely well known, Christian. We need to turn off Christian's microphone. Who's in charge of that? Oh, it's Christian. Oh, dang it.
So you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, which means that if you start looking around your life and you are hanging around with negative people, guess what? You're probably a negative person. If you hang around with really positive people, you're probably a positive person. So the question is this: who are you hanging around with, and are they making you better, and are they helping you achieve your goals? If you want to increase your business and you want to be a $20 million producer, you need to start hanging around with other $20 million producers.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about, is just reflecting on your life. And this can be a hard one too, because you might be with a spouse, you might have a best friend, and all they are is that negative person. And that's not a good thing. And so you might have to reflect about, how do we change these things? And we're not trying to advocate for any changes right now. We're just talking about reflection.
Think about it.
Yeah, Lisa says never be the biggest fish in the pond, and I like that.
Ooh, that's good. Yep. Lisa. She should put a slide on the internet.
That's right.
Really good.
Speaking of that, actually, Lisa, that's good, because it leads us to our next slide. This one we did not steal from the internet, but this one we put together ourselves. Only take advice from those that you want to trade places with. I love this idea simply because if you're hearing somebody chirping in your ear and telling you something that you don't want to hear, reflect on who they are. If they're kind of in that lower section that would bring you down, don't listen to them. If you don't want to trade places with them, don't listen to them. So only take advice from those you would take trade places with. All right. And then third is be accountable to them. All right. So this is a big thing. If you want to surround yourself with next level people, you can't only just surround yourself with them, but you got to be accountable to those people. And that is a hard one.
That's a hard one.
An accountability partner is really, really good for you and your business and life, but you got to make sure you choose the right person, somebody that would actually hold you accountable, and one that you would be accountable to. So consider that.
Yeah.
All right. And then last but not least, speaking of next level sections, would be mastermind groups. Find mastermind groups, networking groups, people that, again, are where you want to be in business and in life, and start associating with those mastermind groups. They spend time thinking about, how do we get to that next level? How do we reach the goals that we have set? If you start surrounding yourself with people like that, and a lot of times you can find them in these mastermind groups, you will just become a better person, a better salesperson, a better life person.
Yes, that's right. A better life person.
Yeah. Better life person.
I think on this too, if you're a manager or if you're a broker owner, managing broker, whatever, you should try to really intentionally create masterminds around. And the way we do it in our brokerage is just different production levels have different masterminds, because they tend to be solving similar problems in their business, right? So we have them for different stages of progression. But if you are running an office, if you're a manager, be intentional about creating those things for your people. It'll be super helpful for sure. Good job, Todd. That was number 3.
Todd, you did a great job, but we're going to Terry.
That's right. Here we go. It's all me, because this one is about your brain.
I thought I was going to get this.
So I'm the clear go-to on this one.
When you think brain,
you think me. No, this is take care of your mind. Okay. So, and the way that we view this is a big quote, but it kind of sets the stage for what we're going to talk about. Naval Ravikant, who's a well-known author Christian.
he didn't just put a slide on the internet.
Now I feel like I need to give you the bio of every person that we quote, because you didn't know who Jim Rohn was, Christian. Oh, if only I knew how to mute those microphones.
Naval Ravikant.
All right. Naval says, happiness is a choice that you make and a skill you develop. The mind is just as malleable as the body. We spend so much time and effort trying to change the external world, other people, and our own bodies, all the while accepting ourselves the way we were programmed in our youths. We accept the voice that talks to us in our head all the time as the source of all truth, but all of it is malleable. Every day is new. Memory and identity are burdens from the past that prevent us from living freely in the present. The main takeaway from this quote is, we think about our minds, our personality, our outlook, our worldview as something that is fixed, something that happened to us when we were young or that we formed when we were young. But the brain, FYI, is part of your body, which means in the same way you can train a bicep or a quadricep, you can also train your brain. So this is when we talk about this point of take care of your mind. This is what we're talking about. Check out this slide right here really quick. So every time I put this up, people are always amused if they've never seen it before, because you literally most likely went through exactly what it said you were going to do. You read the big part first, and then you went down, and then the very top. So in English, we read top to bottom, left to right. But you know that marketers have helped us understand and helped train our minds that a big font on a bright background is going to get the most attention. It's the natural way of where the eye is drawn. So because marketers have trained your brain, you read that in the progression that you did. So again, it's not because you were born that way or even taught to read that way. It's because your mind was trained to do it that way, right? So don't forget what the great philosopher Mom said. She said, garbage in, garbage out. Christian, do I need to give a bio for Mom because we just quoted Mom?
No, I think Mom's just a guy on the internet, right?
Christian. Oh, goodness. We're going to get kicked out of the StreamYard again because of you, Christian.
You're probably right.
So garbage in, garbage out. The truth is that you're going to get out of your mind what you put into it. So we want to make sure we're putting good things, the right things, or at least intentional things into our brain and start training our brain. The best way to do this is affirmations. I know when we say affirmations, you think of this guy, Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, who'd say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me, right? So here's what I would say, though, is that affirmations actually work to train your brain. And what we're doing is just controlling the inputs so that we get the outputs. You liken it to our brains have something called the reticular activation system, the RAS. And what that means is that your brain is forming grooves for things that you deem important. So the example we give a lot is, let's say we're going to go buy a new car. And what car are we going to buy, Christian? Name just a random generic car.
Toyota Prius.
What'd you say?
Toyota Prius.
Okay, a Toyota Prius. We're going to go with a Toyota Prius. And you decide you're going to buy a Prius, and you're going to have it be what color, Christian?
Silver.
Silver Prius. Nice. When you decide that's what you're going to buy, what do you start seeing a lot more of on the road? Silver Priuses, right? Yeah. Pre-I. You start to see a lot of those. Is it because everyone is driving more of them now that you had the idea? No, it's because your brain has trained you. This matters to us now, so let's see it more often. The other thing that I would tell people when it comes to affirmations who are maybe thinking that it wouldn't have an impact, I would say if I got up every single morning and I looked myself in the mirror and I said, Terry, you're dumb, you're stupid, you can't do this, you will probably fail. And I did that day after day, week after week, month after month. Do you think that would have an impact on my own psyche, on my own confidence, on my own belief in myself, my self-esteem? Yes. So if it can work that way in a negative way, your brain can be trained for the positive as well. So we're going to send you at the end, when you text the little code to get all our slides, we're going to send you our list of business affirmations too. So these are affirmations specifically created for business people, entrepreneurs as well. But try it. You'll feel silly at first, but if you keep up doing affirmations, you'll notice the positive impact that it has in your mind. Well, meditation, Todd mentioned this earlier. Meditation can be huge to even yourself out emotionally. It doesn't have to be a religious thing, but it can be depending on your preference. So whatever works for you, but try whatever version of meditation makes sense for you. It'll just help enhance your focus as well. We like Headspace and Calm, which are not religious apps. They're just apps that help you learn to meditate. And then feed your mind with books, podcasts, conferences, the speaker series that Remax is putting on for you in the area. Yeah. I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, but it's good stuff. Glad that you guys are on. And at least from other speakers, you'll hopefully get valuable takeaways. You know what I'm saying? If not us, there's others. That's Take Care of Your Mind.
Boom.
All right, we got what 3 left?
Christian? Yeah, you know what? I think that was good.
Thank you,
go, Todd.
Oh, all right.
Okay. If you've taken care of your mind, it's time to take care of your body.
That's right.
All right. And when we do that, we are not supposed to sell anything on this.
Oh,
but
big
you
news,
know
though.
what? We're not rule followers, so we are selling Boom 30.
What's Boom 30? That's so exciting.
It's Boom 30 Shred, actually.
Oh,
is
the Boom 30
version.
Shred.
The Boom, we want to show you a loyal customer.
Yeah, the workout
just
program.
a little before and after. Check this out.
Boom
30 Shred. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And I know you're like, that's just CGI. Nope. Check this out.
Boom.
Look
That's
at that.
right.
That's
Shirts off.
real life.
That's
Boom
how you know.
30 Shred. You too can have that body in 30 days.
That's
if
right.
you just
Act
buy
now.
the Boom 30 Shred from us for a low price of $2,982.
I'll deliver the VHS cassettes to you tomorrow.
VHS?
Yeah, they're on VHS. Yeah, it's
a super VHS.
It's a 10-tape series.
10-tape
I'm going to load up the car, and I'll be by the house tomorrow
Just
for
shoot
whoever
it to your
joins.
Boom tapes.
Boom tapes.
All right, so you need to take care of your body. We talked about taking care of your mind, which is important, but you also need to take care of your body. So, and it's little things like getting active, and obviously, we're not going to spend too much time on this. You guys have heard these things, but the better your body is, the better you're functioning, then the better you're going to be able to go out into the world and take on what life brings your way. All right. So some of the benefits of just physically being active or better cognitive function, which means your brain is working better.
Right.
All right. By the way, if anybody can,
we just change that to your brain works better.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to put a quote out there. It's a movie quote, and we'll see if anybody gets it right. We'll give you one free Boom 30 shred. Boom 30 shred.
On the house.
Right. The quote is, "Look at the big brain on Brad."
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
See if you put it in the chat section if you know that. All right. So some of the other benefits: better cognitive function. It reduces stress. That's one of my favorite things when you go out and exercise. Sometimes when you're stressed out, the best thing you can do is go exercise. It improves your energy. You're physically healthier. You're feeling good. Yep. It's just one of those things like you get in front of the mirror and you feel good because you look good, you feel good, and now you're going to go perform well.
That's right.
All right. So that's why we want you to get active, work out, not only just being active, but you also need to do things like eat clean. We've talked, you guys know that. Have a salad every once in a while. That's good for you. All right. But one of the big things that we don't focus on enough in our business and in life is just sleep. Yeah. All right. You need to get more sleep in your life. And this is part of that creating a routine. If you go to bed at the same time and you wake up at the same time, your body will be used to that and your body will expect it, which means when you throw it off, it's not going to be as good. Right. But some of the benefits of getting actual sleep, one, it improves concentration. So you're better focused. You guys know this if you've ever had a night where you didn't get sleep. Right. And you're just like the brain's not clicking like it used to. Yep. All right. Or you're maybe not as focused as you could be. It reduces fat. So think about this. You sleep. You lose weight.
Sleeps to lose weight.
So this is why we just part of the Boom 30-day shred.
It's a keystone.
30-day sleep diet.
It's 29 days of sleeping and then 1 day of just energy pills.
That doesn't sound right.
The VHS tapes. Let's not forget those two. All included.
Also available on beta.
That's
Sony beta.
That's right. And then lastly, one extra part, a benefit of sleeping is it affects your emotions. It reduces stress. You guys know that if you woke up on the wrong side of the pillow, it's, or the wrong side of the bed. Is it pillow?
Yeah. No,
I think it's bed. Yeah.
It's a bed. Yep. All right. But you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. People are like, oh, you're in a bad mood. And it wasn't so much that you woke up on the wrong side. It's just simply that you didn't sleep enough. Right. All right. So you want to make sure that that you are getting sleep. Some sleep facts for you, by the way. We found these. We thought they're kind of fun to share.
Some guy on the internet.
There's some guy on the internet posted them, so they gotta be real. Did you know that 12% of people dream in black and white? What's fun about that is before a certain time in life, it was actually flipped, where only 12% ish of people dreamt in color. Weird thing is, they said the big difference was color television. As soon as they started watching color television, they started dreaming in color. How crazy is that? Did you know that 15% of the population are sleepwalkers? If we had more time today, I would love for you to share your sleepwalking stories. There's probably some really good ones out there. And then last but not least, sleep fact. Did you know that humans are the only mammals that willingly delay sleep? Ladies and gentlemen, if the dolphins can sleep, so can we.
If the dolphins can sleep, so can we. If the dolphins can sleep, so
I don't think we have any chant on that.
I am assuming people chanted at home.
I think at home they were
chanting themselves.
Yeah, everyone was chanting right along.
That's a lot more fun to do in a live audience.
No, they don't like it either. They don't chant along either. Unfortunately.
That's true.
All right, the good one, Todd. Number 5, take care of your body. I will say, by the way, that working out, if you're a newer agent, working out was the biggest thing I did to just get off the roller coaster of emotion that real estate can be, especially in the early days. So highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Because of the chant, we're going to Terry.
The chant messed you up. Number 6 is take care of your spirit. You've got to work from a full cup. So that means you need to be doing things that fill your cup up. So we like to say you can't pour from an empty cup, so you want to take care of yourself first. It's the whole oxygen mask on the airplane thing. Before you can help other people, you need to make sure that your own oxygen mask is fully on, and then you can help others so that you don't just pass right out. That's really kind of true, though. Like, that metaphor is good, because in real estate, if all we do is serve, be there at all hours for our clients, nonstop, all the time, guess what could happen? We could pass out metaphorically. We could burn out. We could fizzle out. And I always think too, we have so much responsibility in what we're doing.
Right.
So if we are not right, if our brain is not clicking along correctly, if we're not taking care of ourselves and coming from a healthy place, we could really mess things up for our clients even, which is even more scary and even more reason that we think that you should make sure your cup is filled physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it takes. So some ways to fill yourself up. Family and friends, obviously, that's huge. Hobbies, drop in the chat. I'm always curious about this. What hobbies people have. Sometimes realtors struggle to even name a hobby, and that can be embarrassing. We're just bad at having hobbies. There's always some guy that's like, lead generation is my hobby.
Lead generation. I love real estate.
Down, sir. That's not what we're talking. So drop some hobbies in the chat. But hobbies are a great way for you to be a whole, well-rounded person so you can get away from the business and come back fresh. Travel, also huge. I suggest you travel to DC and Baltimore and go to some baseball games. Oh, wait, that's not travel for you guys, but it is for me. And I'm traveling to go watch some baseball because I love it so much. Okay. Journaling. This is huge. Make this a part of your morning routine. Just writing down your thoughts, working through what's going on in your life and in your world. And it's just a nice record way to help you disentangle sometimes the cloudy thinking that we have in our brains. So journaling, the benefits of that are massive. You can do your own research, but highly suggest it. We already talked about meditating and praying. Feel free to do that as well in the morning to get yourself where you need to be for your day. And then take time off. One of the big things that we advocate, listen to this, and we just made it a brokerage thing too, is half-day Fridays. Half-day Fridays. I'm not your manager. I don't work for Remax Corporate, but let me say this. You have permission to take a half day on Friday and every Friday for all the Fridays to come. Half-day Friday. It's the vacation thing, right? When are you super productive? The day before you go on vacation. So if you know you're taking Friday afternoon off, you will still get the same amount of work done in 4.5 days.
The week before you go on vacation.
But yes, for sure, right? But you will get the same amount of work done in the 4.5 days so that you can enjoy, get away from it for a little while. Half-day Fridays. Congratulations. Yay. Remax has signed off on this in its entirety, 100%. Everybody gets Fridays off half-day.
Keep going for number 7. Terry's on a roll. We're skipping Todd.
Went straight to Terry again.
Skipping Todd, going to Terry.
Todd. I was just going to say, it is still full day Wednesdays, though.
Full day Wednesdays.
Yeah, it is full day Wednesdays.
10-hour Wednesdays.
Well, today is Wednesday, so 10 hours today, guys. We gotta make that time up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, we love half-day Fridays. A day off? No, you can't. No, you gotta earn those hours elsewhere. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, try the half-day Friday and let us know. It's pretty awesome. So, okay, last one, number 7. Before we get to the half one, is systematize and appetize. The theory here: if you do it more than once, you need a system. Don't trust your brain to remember everything you do every time. So if you're repeating, then create a system, create a task list, create a checklist for this. So things like lead gen. What do you do regularly, daily for lead gen? How do you systematically market to your sphere? How do you handle your contract to close the transaction? Do you have a checklist, or are you, God help us, trying to just remember everything you need to do during a transaction? How do you market and launch a listing? Get systems, checklists, tasks in place so that you do it the same way every time, so that you don't have to remember and think about it. It's why pilots have a checklist.
Yes.
It's because you can't trust yourself or any human to remember everything you need to do, and there's big consequences if you don't. So take care of yourself and take better care of your clients by actually working a system off of checklists, for sure. Then we also would advise you to look into apps that can make your life easier. There's great apps for email. There's digital calendars that sync across devices and make your life easy. There's task apps, so you don't have to wake up every day and write down your to-do list, hoping that your brain works and you remember everything. Apps for your notes, like Evernote. We like that a lot. Things for voicemail. There's things like Slide Dial where you can drop a voicemail in on somebody else's phone. Text. You want to have a scanner out in the field. You want to have apps that help you post across social media channels. The idea here is get systems, use apps, and run your business way more efficiently with less cognitive burden on your brain. Systematize and appetize.
Boom. Todd, you get one more shot.
Oh,
you get the half a tip.
Oh, the half tip.
All right, so we've covered 7 so far. We've organized our space, created a routine, surrounded ourselves with next level people. We're now taking care of our mind. We're taking care of our body. We're taking care of our spirit. We are systematizing. We are appetizing. We are half day Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to 7.5, which is simply you do you. And what that means is you look at all these things, you know where some of the holes are, you know where you can strengthen things or where you can double down on some of your strengths. So simply you do you. I want to remind you that it's action over perfection. Okay. You can try to do all these things. You could try to completely change your life, but you're going to get burnt or you're going to get, it's called paralysis. No, that's a terrible phrase. I was going to go with something in my baseball days, but that didn't. Analysis paralysis, we'll go with that. But if you try to do too much, you will feel like you're not getting it done, and then you're going to be upset with yourself.
Right.
And don't worry about it. Don't try to be perfect. What we're trying to do is just be active. Start creating these actions. So action over perfection. All right. And what we'd love for you guys to do, and by the way, shout out to Allegiance Marketing. They earned a free Boom Shred 30 because they guessed it was Pulp Fiction. And then Lisa, she also, shout out to Lisa White. She's been chiming in there. She's been in golfing. She likes to dancing, cut up the kids.
Do it.
No, friends.
Yeah, not with the kids.
I said cut up the kids. That's not
cut up
cut
with
a
the
rug.
Kids.
Cut it up.
Yeah.
Laugh.
It's not the kids. It's
cut
friends.
Dance.
It's nothing to do with kids. It's friends.
And she said nothing about children. That's just, well, you heard in the intro, we've got a lot of kids. And so we just assume it's all kid related. But
that's right. But we would love for you guys to write down some of your takeaways. What do you want to improve? I would love for you to take a whiteboard marker and go write it on your mirror. What are some of the 2 or 3 things that you would love to improve on? Write it in front of your mirror so that you see it every day. And then connect with us. Let us know. So if you go and you use that fancy phone you have, the BlackBerry, and you text BOOM to 33777, you will not only get our slides from today, but like Terry said, you'll get some additional.
You may get more than that bargained for.
You may even get the Boom Shred 30. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Put it online yet?
But connect with us. You can see our contact information there: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Reach out to us. Tell us all about what you're loving and what you're doing to change your life so that you can become not only a better person, but therefore a better agent and just overall better in everything you do. And we're excited for it. So thank you guys so much for having us. We're going to look back at the camera, Terry. Way over here.
That's this one. It's this camera now.
Thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate it. From Christian, Terry, and myself, Todd, thank you for having us, and we hope to see you soon.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you guys so much. This was so phenomenal, and we look forward to having you guys join us in another speaker series soon.